How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Kanye West running for president this year in 2020. Now, I thought his campaign was dead. I thought it was over with because when he announced that he was going to run like a few days ago, a few weeks ago, whenever that was, he was already too late to appear on the ballot in 6 or more states. Then there was a guy from his campaign, a high-ranking official, that said publicly on the news and media, newspapers, that Kanye was done. He was not going to be running. So I thought it was dead. It was a wrap. Maybe he try again in 2024. But apparently he's still in the running. He filed with the FEC, and he had a campaign rally in South Carolina a couple of days ago. Now, we got to talk about that campaign rally because that was all over the place. There was a lot said there that we got to quote unquote unpack, as the cool kids would say. I'm not really sure where to begin. I could talk about the Harriet Tubman quote. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. You got to wait on that one. Let's talk about what he said that is positive first, because this is kind of being overlooked by the Harriet Tubman comments. Let's go ahead and roll the first clip.
She said she was pregnant, and for 1 month, and 2 months, and 3 months, we talked about her not having this child. She had the pills in her hands. Do people know these pills where you take the pills, and if you take it, it's a wrap. The baby's gone. So I was sitting up in Paris, and I had my leather pants on. You already know, if you got leather pants on, you already know who this person must think they are. Right? And I'm in the apartment where my wife was actually robbed. And I have my laptop up, and I got all of my creative ideas. I got my shoes, I got my sound cover, I got communities, I got clothes, I got all this. And the screen went black and white. And God said, if you f with my vision, I'm going to f with yours. And I called my wife. And she said, we're going to have this baby. My mom saved my life. My dad wanted to abort me. My mom saved my life. There would have been no Kanye West because my dad was too busy. Hey.
We love you, Kanye.
Abortion should be legal, but the option of maximum increase should be available. Maximum increase would be everybody that has a baby gets $1 million or something in that way.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, that was a great story, crazy story. You up there in Paris, leather pants on, in the same apartment where your wife gets robbed. I'm not sure when she got robbed or when that happened. That probably was much later, but anyway, you in the same place where she got robbed. You're working on ideas for your business, and you get a revelation, a message from God that says, don't do that. Don't kill your child. He calls his wife. She says, keeping the baby. And you could see her every day walking, running, playing, laughing, being the child. Beautiful child, right? So when you're thinking about how you came that close to killing this child, that gets pretty emotional. And he probably just went over the edge when talking about his own mother saving his life. Okay, so you're already thinking about your child could have been dead. He could have been dead too if his mom didn't save his life. So that wasn't a very emotional thing. And we need more of that to be out there, more pro-life messaging. I'm with him on the whole pro-life thing 1,000% of the way. And I think we need much more of that. And like I was saying before I wrote the video, I think that part of his rally in South Carolina kind of got overshadowed because Kanye is a guy that says wild things. That's him. That's been him from the beginning. One thing I don't like is how they're trying to characterize him as being crazy for crying about almost dying and his child almost dying. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy to think that you wouldn't be emotional at a time like that. I mean, if you're going to get emotional, maybe it would be at the thought of not living. People want to call him crazy. He needs to be on medication. He's disturbed. He's been the same exact way from the very beginning. Remember the whole thing in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, about Hurricane Katrina? George Bush does not care about black people. Remember that? And everybody's kind of like looking away, not knowing what to do. That's been Kanye from the very beginning. He's been consistent. Now, his viewpoints politically may change, but his character, who he is, has been the same. All right? I don't really see a big difference. Now, he said a lot of different things in this particular rally, talking about how he was on Percocets, hooked on those for a while after having plastic surgery. I think he had lipo and he was on Percocets. I think he said he wanted to ban pornography. A lot of different things that were said there. Oh, one part, he was talking about he may want to encourage women to have kids by paying like $1 million. I think he might have just been kind of exaggerating the money part, but I think he just wants to promote life. Now, there was one part of the rally where people got really upset. They got really triggered. And that's when he was talking about Harriet Tubman. Let's roll that clip.
Right. I'm not trying to quiet your voices, actually. So I don't want to say that in an improper way. I just haven't had the time to word it in the most elegant way possible. So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I'm not really a guy that would say something like that, but I think I might have understood where he was coming from. Maybe he's saying that people were still enslaved mentally and they weren't totally free. They're free from the plantation. They're free from actual bondage, but they're not free mentally. That's the best way I could say it. But I wouldn't say that because nobody's going to understand that nuance. Nobody's going to think that. They're going to think that you think Harriet Tubman did not free any slaves, which is actually not true. She did lead armed insurrections and, ran in the Underground Railroad, helped slaves actually get to freedom. So I wouldn't have said that, but I kind of understand where he was coming from. And again, people said, oh, this guy shouldn't be here. Entertainers talking about, oh, Kanye West, he's crazy, mentally ill. Nah, the thing about Kanye West I like is the fact that he is politically not even really tied to anything. He's just kind of a free person. Now, I have certain moorings. I have certain anchors that anchor me in certain political thought because that's just me as a person. I'm not really permeable. I'm not really a guy that can just change like that overnight. I'm open-minded to a certain extent. I'm open-minded to hear people's viewpoints. I hear you out, but I'm not going to just change. It's hard to change my mind. It's got to be something I want to do, and it's got to be something that I really feel deeply passionate about, and I got to be thoroughly, you got to change. In order for me to change my mind about anything, you got to present hardcore physical evidence, and I got to think about it for some years. I'm not really a mutable guy. So Kanye West is kind of like water. He can just change the drop of a hat. That's kind of what's going on as far as what his ideology is, but his character has always been like that. That's what I'm trying to say. People say that, oh, Kanye's on medication. He doesn't know what's going on. That's been him from the very beginning. So if he needs meds now, he needed meds back then. He was just, working on music in his basement, in mama house or whatever. He's been the same kind of dude from the jump. So I'm not sure where this is actually going, where his campaign is headed. He's talking about he wants Jay-Z to be his running mate, but there's actually a current running mate right now. I think her last name is Tidball, Tidball. So she's like a preacher in Wyoming. I'm not sure what she's going to do. She said that she would accept another role in the cabinet if Jay-Z was to become the vice president, but I don't think Jay-Z wants to become the vice president. Jay-Z has, I think Kanye and Jay-Z have divergent paths in life. Jay-Z's on this whole woke train, Black Lives Matter. He's doing that right now. If Jay-Z was to get involved right now with Kanye, he'd probably call him on the phone and say, stop what you're doing. Don't do this. Don't be out here with the MAGA hat on, all this, that, and the third. Oh, to address that right quick, people said that Kanye turned his back on Trump. It's no. But if you're trying to become the president, you can't necessarily be like, yeah, I'm a Trump supporter too. I mean, that's not really how that works. You're going to have your own platform and focus on that rather than trying to elevate someone else's platform. It's the same thing with people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Kamala Harris basically almost called Joe Biden a racist when she was running against him in the primary, but now she's open to being the vice president. Because when you're in the primary, you're running against somebody. But after the primary is over with, then you come together and see how you can collaborate, because you're not competing with each other anymore. Oh, also Kanye, speaking about the vote and Trump and whatnot and black voters, Kanye said that it's racist to think that he would split the black vote between himself and Joe Biden. And I think that he's right about that, because first of all, just because you have a black person running does not mean they're going to actually get the majority of the black vote, because we saw that in this past election in the primary. You had Cory Booker and Kamala Harris running in South Carolina. So why did Joe Biden get the majority of the black vote? Huh? How does that really work? I'm kind of confused about what's going on there. You know, people said that if you got a black person running, they would get the Democratic nomination from Black America. I can't tell. I cannot tell. The only reason why Joe Biden is even in the race right now is because of the black vote, in my humble opinion. And once he won South Carolina, it was pretty much just downhill from there. And 2/3 of the Democratic vote in South Carolina is black. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why he's even anywhere right now. They could have given that to Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, but it didn't happen. Just because a person is a particular ethnicity does not mean they're going to get the vote regardless. In American Samoa, where Tulsi Gabbard is actually from, she did not get the majority of the vote in the primary. Michael Bloomberg did. Out of all the guys in the world, Michael Bloomberg got the majority of the vote. So if your own remote home island in the middle of nowhere, where you're from, does not give you the majority of the vote, then what makes anybody think that Kanye would get the majority of the black vote? Especially since a lot of black folks on Twitter right now are dogging them and trashing them. You would get more kickback from the black celebs, black media, black politicians, than anything else. And that's going to influence just the regular everyday people. And a lot of people wouldn't even really see Kanye as a serious candidate. They would just vote Democrat regardless. You know, if Kanye comes in as a birthday party, like he said he would, because if he wins, it'd be your birthday. If he comes in as a birthday party on a ballot and somebody sees Democrat, other choices aside from Kanye, they're going to vote straight line Democrat. That'd be pretty much how that works. All right. So I think he's right about that. But as I close, I want to say this. I think Kanye really has no chance in 2020. Maybe in the future it could happen. Who knows? 2028, 2032. I don't know about right now in 2020. He's way too late. I think the black vote, the left vote in general is pretty much tied up right now in Joe Biden. If they're going to vote, they're going to vote Joe Biden. They're not going to write anybody in. There won't be any random dark horse swooping in. They're going to vote Joe Biden. That's pretty much how that's going to be. And people that voted Trump last time are going to do the same thing for the most part. And I think Trump has gained more people. It would be interesting to see the whole thing with Kanye West play out. I want to see more campaign rallies, actually. I want to see what he says. One thing about Kanye, regardless of whether you love him or hate him, he's an entertaining person for sure. You know, sometimes it gets kind of weird and it's not entertaining, but I think he's a polarizing figure. And if his objective is to get some attention for his campaign, he has succeeded in that goal. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Kanye West is serious about running for president? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is he not serious? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. How do you feel about the things he was saying in his so-called campaign rally in South Carolina about abortion, about Harriet Tubman and other things, you know, the drugs and whatnot? I think a lot of what he said was correct, but other things were kind of just not really well thought out. You ever have an idea in your mind and you want to express it, but it's not fully formulated, so you kind of hold off? Kanye doesn't do that. He just says it, and you just take from it whatever you can. There's like moments of lucidity. Like sometimes he's talking, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Other times I'm like, I don't understand what's going on there. That's pretty much Kanye West, and he's been like that from the very beginning. So all this about mental illness and whatnot, that's just Kanye, all right? At a certain point, we can't just throw this term around, mental illness. We got to actually understand if something's going on or if it's just a person's personality. If they've been that way for the past 30 years and they've been functional, been able to amass large amounts of wealth, Maybe they're not necessarily mentally ill. Maybe they're just strange or eccentric or something like that. That's fine. You can still be eccentric. You can still be strange. It doesn't mean you're crazy. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.